You land in Seoul, the air buzzing with a language you're just beginning to grasp, and you find yourself in a common traveler's dilemma. You need to get past someone blocking the aisle in a crowded subway car, or maybe you're trying to flag down a waiter in a bustling restaurant. Your instinct, naturally, is to utter a polite "excuse me." But in Korea, if you say what you think is "excuse me," you might just have deeply offended someone without even realizing it. I remember my first trip to Busan, a vibrant port city utterly lost in a maze of street food stalls. I wanted to ask a vendor a question, something simple like, "Is this spicy?" I looked up "excuse me" online and faithfully practiced shillehamnida or shillehamnida. I approached the kind-looking vendor and, with what I thought was perfect politeness, I said, "shillehamnida." He just stared. Not angrily, but with a palpable confusion, a subtle tightening around his eyes that made my stomach drop. It wasn't until much later, after making the same mistake a few more times and getting similar bewildered reactions, that I truly understood what was happening. See, the problem is not with the phrase itself. Shillehamnida does translate to something like "excuse me," but its usage is incredibly specific. It literally means, "I am being rude," or "I am committing an impolite act." So, when you use it to get someone's attention or to pass by, you are essentially telling them you are being rude to them. It implies that your action is the rude one, not that they are obstructing your path. It's meant for situations where you are interrupting, like walking into a meeting late, or reaching over someone's food to grab something. It's a statement about your own conduct, not a request for theirs. It's like saying, "Pardon my rudeness, I am now going to ask you for a favor." That wasn't what I was going for at all when I just wanted to know if the kimchi was mild enough for my sensitive palate. So, what should you say when you need to politely get someone to move or make space for you? The phrase you're looking for is jamsimanyo, or its slightly more formal cousin, jamkanmanyo. Both mean just a moment or wait a moment. Think of it this way. You're not saying, "Move out of my way, you're being rude." You're saying, "Could you just pause for a moment so I can pass through?" It's a gentle, respectful request for a temporary adjustment, acknowledging their presence without assigning blame. The pronunciation is pretty straightforward. jamsimanyo or jamkanmanyo. The yo at the end is the polite suffix that makes almost any Korean phrase instantly more respectful when speaking to strangers or those older than you. Now, what if you need to get the attention of someone, like a waiter, a shop assistant, or just a stranger you need to ask for directions? This is where jamsimanyo doesn't quite fit. You're not asking them to pause, you're asking for their focus. For this, the magic phrase is jeogiyo. This one is truly versatile. It translates roughly to "over there" or "hey, you over there." It's a neutral way to call someone without knowing their name or position, and it's perfectly acceptable for catching a server's eye or politely interrupting someone to ask a quick question. Imagine you're in a cafe and the server is busy at the counter. A soft, slightly raised jeogiyo will usually do the trick, often accompanied with a small wave. This is not rude at all. It's simply signaling that you require attention. You might be wondering, why is it such a big deal? Why is the direct translation so offensive when it works in English? It comes down to a fundamental cultural difference in how personal space and social interaction are perceived. In many Western cultures, "excuse me" often implies a minor inconvenience caused by the other person or a request to be allowed to move past. Korea is a stronger emphasis on collective harmony and avoiding direct confrontation or even implied criticism. By saying, "I am being rude, shillehamnida," when someone is in your way, you're indirectly implying their presence is causing you to be rude, which is an awkward and often unwelcome social interaction. It places the burden of your movement onto them rather than acknowledging that space is shared and needs to be navigated mutually. I once saw a tourist try to get a bus driver's attention by yelling "shillehamnida" through the open door, expecting the bus to wait. The driver looked genuinely taken aback, almost as if he was being accused of something. It was an honest mistake, born from a lack of understanding, but the discomfort was palpable. The difference between jamsimanyo and jeogiyo might seem subtle to an English speaker, but to a Korean, it speaks volumes about your awareness and respect for their social etiquette. It's the difference between fumbling through a social situation and gracefully navigating it. These nuances are what make language so fascinating, don't you think? If you've ever found yourself making similar linguistic slip-ups abroad or just nodding politely when you had no idea what was being said, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories about navigating these tricky cultural waters. What's interesting is how quickly you can adapt once you learn these distinctions. After my initial blunders, I made a conscious effort to switch to jamsimanyo and jeogiyo. The reactions changed instantly. Smiles, helpful nods, a quick shift in position. It was like I had unlocked a secret handshake. It wasn't just about using the right words, it was about showing respect for their way of communicating, acknowledging that you understand their unwritten social rules. This subtle shift in language transformed my interactions, making them smoother, warmer, and far more pleasant. And that, I found, is true for so much of travel. A little bit of language goes a long way. So, to recap the essentials, next time you find yourself in Korea and need to get someone's attention or ask them to momentarily move, skip the direct "excuse me." Instead, for making your way through a crowd, use jamsimanyo, jamsimanyo. And to call out to a waiter or a shopkeeper, use jeogiyo, jeogiyo. Practice them, say them with a friendly tone, and watch how much more smoothly your interactions go. It's a small change, but it speaks volumes about your understanding and appreciation for Korean culture. If you're planning a trip to Korea or just love diving into the fascinating world of language and culture, you'll definitely want more insights like this. Learning these subtle but powerful phrases can make all the difference in your travels, turning potential awkward moments into genuine connections. So, if you're curious about mastering more phrases that truly open doors in new places, consider subscribing to Layover Lingo. We'll make sure your next adventure is packed with confident communication. Ultimately, navigating a foreign land isn't just about seeing the sights. It's about connecting with the people. And there's no better way to do that than by speaking their language, even if it's just a few carefully chosen words. Understanding these seemingly small differences, like how to properly say "excuse me," isn't just about avoiding offense. It's about bridging cultural gaps, fostering mutual respect, and truly immersing yourself in the beautiful tapestry of a new place. It's about becoming a traveler who doesn't just visit, but truly engage.